A parish church means different things to different people. For members of the congregation, it is the centre of their religious community, a place of worship, peace and spirituality. For others, it is a focus to the suburban sprawl, a place where they can meet and enjoy social activities. Others see the building as history, where there is continuity in a time of change. St. Mark's is all of these things, and more too. It is a memorial to the people of Woodcote, a spiritual haven in a busy world, a reminder of a place beyond the daily grind of life. It lives in their memories as the church where they were married, or baptized a child, or where they said goodbye to a loved one, or celebrated Christmas and Easter. It is a place full of life and music, prayer and worship, and all the richness of life in the community is expressed in the social life that enlivens the church and halls throughout the year. There are youth organisations, fitness clubs, dance groups, parties, receptions in the hall, concerts and recitals in the church. This is St. Mark's, an Anglican church like many others, serving its community, bringing fellowship and life to its people, the spiritual and social hub of the parish. But despite its architecture, it is not an ancient church. It is just over a century old and was built to serve a modern suburban community. In 1903, Purley was still a village, but London was growing fast, spreading rapidly into its surrounding countryside, and the urban sprawl was moving southwards. It became clear that a new church would have to be provided for the increasing population, and a site was found on Peaks Hill, west of the village, in an area where substantial houses were already being built. The first church was made from corrugated iron and was known to all as the Iron Church, but this was only a temporary structure, and a substantial brick and stone church was commissioned to replace it. The foundation stone was laid in 1909, and the building was consecrated only a year later. The architect had designed a tower to carry a peal of 6 bells, but there were insufficient funds to carry out this work, and only the base of the tower was built. There was no organ either, and that was not installed until 1915. At that stage, all the windows were plain glass as well. But it was still a handsome church, large and well proportioned, with an imposing grey stone exterior. Inside, the limestone arcades contrasted with the warm russet brickwork, and the high barrel vault and clear nave ensured that the acoustics were excellent. The church was less than 5 years old when the First World War came. The parish answered the call, sent its men into battle, and many did not return. An ornate war memorial was erected to commemorate the dead, and grieving parents endowed stained glass windows in memory of their sons. By the 1920s, the church was substantially as we know it today, although some changes have been made over the years to the interior. All but 4 of the windows now have stained glass, and in the crossing a dais has been raised to accommodate modern styles of worship. To serve the social needs of the parish, a temporary hall had been erected, but after 60 years it was replaced in 1968 by a new complex with 2 halls and kitchen. The architecture was typical of its era, and it has served the church and the parish well for nearly half a century. The buildings sit in grounds that allow the visitor to walk, rest and appreciate the building. Like most urban churches, there is no graveyard, but an area of lawn is consecrated for the interment of ashes after cremation. But a church is not just a building. A church is itself a community, and it is at the heart of the community it serves. It is our mission as God's church in this place to be a faithful, serving and witnessing Christian community, to strive to be a living example of Jesus Christ, enabling and encouraging others to experience the love of God for themselves, and so discover the relevance of His Son in their lives. We have been called to respond to God's love not only within the boundaries of the physical building of the church, but also in the community, through our witness and example, using the gifts we have been given and the voice that we have. The church building is an expression of God's glory in the world. It should be a magnet for its people, a place where they feel at home, a place to which they are drawn at times of crisis, a place from which they can face the challenges of the world, and a place where they can celebrate the good times with their families. There is nowhere else in the community that fulfills this complex role. All that makes up the church, its buildings, its people, its worship and its ministry, is dedicated to the service of God and of the community. This is what we are. Come and visit us, see the church in action, enjoy the buildings and worship, and take part in its many activities. For over 100 years, St Mark's has been serving Woodcote, and will continue to be the focus for the parish and all who live there into the future.